We'll come back to today's game in just a little bit, but Kevin, we thought while we've got you here, and we didn't have many goals to talk about in the last couple of games, we thought we'd talk about maybe some of your goals that you've scored. And I've got to be honest, I'm going to get dewy-eyed here. That season was, I think, probably my favourite season ever, and we're going to see some clips here of you in action. I mean, how special was that season, Kevin?
Yeah. First and foremost, the players I had around me, that you look at that pass from Mooney there, they enabled me to do what I did, and there was a real understanding. You look Mo here, a lot of my goals are centre of the goal, and not many of my goals come from me doing anything special. A lot of my goals, you see people are putting pressure, and I'm there for the tapping. As you can see, there's a great ball from Coxie. All my goals were in the area, and I had so many influential, creative players in that team that all I had to do was be at the right place at the right time.
This was your best,
yeah,
I think,
that's my number one goal here. I even ran around it with my right foot. I could have done it with my left foot. But as I said before, if you look at the squad we had, if you're a number 9 and you didn't score in that team, you'd have to look at yourself. And a lot of the times it was just understanding the people I played with: Coxie, Mooney, Lloyd James, Moses, Roman. These are even our centre backs. You had Frenchie they would step into midfield at times and play forward passes, and there was a real understanding. 3-4 years playing together, and as the seasons grew, we got stronger and stronger, and it just. Bit unfortunate we didn't get promoted, but it's a great team to play in, if not the best team I've ever played with. It was
a special team to watch, and I think it's where I really fell in love with Orient. And but what did you think? I know you said it was the understanding of all the players, but what do you think it was maybe externally that contributed to that?
I think there was a culture within the club. There was a real family-orientated vibe. We would go out together all the time. I know I shouldn't say that, but after games, after we won, mind you, we would go out and have meals, wives, players together separately. But there was, as I say, there was a real unity within the club, and the manager created that. The manager was really good with that as well, Russell. And I obviously being a East London boy myself, there was a real desire for me to get this club into the Championship at the time and do well for this club, and as well as myself, and it just flowed through the club. It just flowed. We had real strong characters in our team, and as I said, as the seasons went on, we just got stronger and stronger. And just a bit unfortunate that at that time you had Wolves, Rotherham, Sheffield United. I could go on with clubs. Brentford were there at one point that were big clubs that were destined to get themselves in the Championship. So I think if we're playing in this day and age, this League One, I think we get promoted.
I wanted to ask Kev about, I'm glad you touched on the fact that you're local as well.
Yeah.
How important is that kind of like, for you coming back to an area that's so familiar to you, was it just like that element of comfort, the fact that you're probably closer, presumably, to family and friends? And I always find it so interesting when players come back to an area that they're familiar with, that somehow their game elevates as well.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I mean, you ask any player, they want to end their career in a club that they supported or they went to watch as a young boy, and it just so happened that I could tell you the story how I got to Orient, but I was real fortunate to be at this club at the time I was there, and I appreciated it. And as soon as I walked into the building, I think there was a level of respect from my teammates as well for me. Not just to the fact of what I've done in my career, but the fact that there was a work rate about me, and I would like to think I was an unselfish player, that I would do the stuff that I needed to do in order for the team to win. And as you say, that's a massive part of being from this club and being from this area.
How did that move come about? You say you can and you can't tell us.
Yeah. So look, I think Russell tried to get me when I was at Millwall, and he offered me a contract, and I said no, it weren't enough, so I turned it down. And to be fair to Russell, he said, look, Kev, this is all we can offer. And I said, look, at that time, I can't take that. So then obviously the season starts and I didn't have a club. So I called him and I said, look, and he went, no. He said, look, I've got 4 strikers. And I think at the time he had 4 strikers. He had Curtin, Tahui, I think he had Mooney, and I think there was someone else. But he said, we've got no more budget, but you can come down and train. So I trained on the Monday, and I think they had a cup game on the Tuesday, if I'm right, and I think they went to a penalty shootout, and it was at 9-10, that penalty shoot.
I think it was 13-14.
13-14, yeah, something like that.
Versus
So,
Dagenham.
yeah, and we got 2 injuries. I think Mooney got injured and Tahui got injured. I think Mooney done his shoulder and Tahui pulled a muscle. So he called me straight after the game. He said, "Look, Kev, very lucky. We've got 2 strikers that are injured, so I can give you a 4-week contract. 4-week contract." So I said, "I'll take the 4-week contract," and I took that 4-week contract, and I signed a 2-year contract 2 weeks later after that. So yeah, it was quite fortunate that I landed back at this club, but I made every minute count.
Well,
we were lucky to have you as well.
Yeah,
it worked both ways, for sure.
I was going to say that's probably the best 4-week contract we've ever given out. You don't see many of them these days, Gabe.